Sign it, Isabella, or your father loses everything tonight. The banker slides a folder across the dining table in the Lockwood mansion, where the chandelier is still glittering but the power feels like it is about to shut off. Mortgage notices and lien letters are stacked like tombstones between the silverware. Arthur Lockwood grips the edge of his chair. His knuckles are white, his voice rough. We will fix this. We have ships. We have roots. We have 40 years of goodwill. You have 7 days of cash. The banker does not blink. After that, the courts freeze your assets. The fleet gets tied up. Your crews walk. Isabella stands behind her father, hands pressed into her own ribs as if she can hold her heart in place. She reads the numbers again. They do not change. 10 billion, then penalties, then interest. A cliff and the family is already falling. The butler rushes in, cheeks flushed. Miss Lockwood, a courier is here. From Thorne Group. Arthur laughs, one sharp sound that has no humor. Vincent Thorne, he is here to watch us burn. The folder is heavy in Isabella's hands. Inside is a contract with clean black ink and a single line that turns her blood cold. 2-year marriage agreement. Isabella Lockwood will marry Vincent Thorne and present herself publicly as his devoted wife. In return, Thorne Group will inject $10 billion immediately and refinance the Lockwood debt. At the end of 2 years, both parties will file for divorce. Isabella receives a payout large enough to rebuild her life. Arthur slams his palm on the table. No, I would rather lose my name than sell my daughter. Isabella does not look away from the paper. She hears the distant hum of the city outside, the same New York that used to bow to her family. Now it is indifferent. What if I sign? She asks quietly. And we keep the ships? Arthur turns on her, eyes bright with rage and fear. Do you think that man would offer mercy? He has hated us since he was a boy. I know. Isabella forces each word out. But I also know no one else is coming. The banker stands, satisfied. You have until morning. When the room empties, Arthur sinks into his chair like a man twice his age. Isabella kneels beside him, her pride cracking for the first time. I will do it, she says. Arthur shakes his head. Bella, I failed you. You raised me to protect this family. Her voice turns steady. Let me do it. 3 days later, Isabella walks into a private estate on the Hudson, a place so coldly perfect it feels like a museum built for one man. The ceremony is nothing more than a signature, a ring, a camera, and 2 witnesses who look bored. Vincent Thorne watches her sign as if she is signing a shipping manifest, not a life. He is tall, sharp in a dark suit, eyes like winter water. Welcome, Mrs. Thorne, the attorney says. Isabella hates how the title sits on her skin. Vincent steps close enough that she can smell clean soap and expensive smoke. His voice is low and even. You will smile when the cameras point at you. You will not embarrass me. You will not confuse this with affection. Isabella lifts her chin. And you will pay. Vincent's mouth tilts, almost a smile. I already did. That night he hosts a small reception, not for romance but for optics. Board members toast. Investors whisper. Isabella stands at Vincent's side, arm linked with his, posture flawless while her stomach churns. A glass keeps finding her hand. Someone keeps refilling it. Laughter becomes too loud. Lights smear at the edges. She escapes to the garden, cold air biting at her cheeks. Vincent is there, alone beneath a thin line of moonlight, a drink in his hand like a weapon. Enjoying your purchase? Isabella asks, voice sharp with liquor and humiliation. Watching me pretend I am grateful? Vincent does not answer. He watches her, expression unreadable. Say it. She demands. Say you won. His eyes flicker. Then he steps forward, grabs her wrist, and pulls her into him with sudden force. The kiss is not tender. It is angry, hot, and reckless. Isabella should slap him. She should run. Instead she tastes whiskey and heat and the 2 years of fear she has been swallowing. His hand slides to her waist. Her back hits the stone wall of the terrace. Her breath breaks. Vincent. She gasps but the name turns into a broken sound. He lifts her, carries her inside as if she weighs nothing, and the world becomes a blur of fabric, skin, and the sharp edge of surrender. Morning is cruel. Isabella wakes in a bed that does not smell like her, sheets tangled around her legs. Vincent sits in a chair beside the window, ring in his fingers. He wipes it with a cloth as if it is dirty. Her throat tightens. Last night. Vincent does not look at her. A mistake. He slips the ring back onto his hand and finally meets her eyes. There is no warmth there, only control. Do not misunderstand. His voice is calm, which makes it worse. That was alcohol and impulse. You are here to play a role. Remember your place. This is a transaction, Isabella. Do not fall in love with me. Isabella sits up, face burning. I would rather choke than love you. Vincent's smile is thin. Good, then we will both survive. The first rule of the agreement is simple. In public, they are perfect. On the first Monday after the wedding, Isabella stands beside Vincent in the Thorn Group lobby, facing a wall of cameras. She wears a pale dress, a soft smile, and a ring that feels like a shackle. Vincent curls his hand around hers for the photos. His palm is warm, his grip firm enough to warn her not to pull away. Look at me. He murmurs without moving his lips. She turns her face toward him. The flash pops. The room cheers. When the press finally scatters, Vincent drops her hand as if he never touched it. He walks ahead, not waiting for her. At the estate, the second rule takes over. In private, they do not exist. Isabella is given a suite at the far end of the house. Vincent keeps the master bedroom. The staff moves like ghosts, trained to see nothing and say less. They eat dinner at the same table twice that week. Both times, Vincent reads reports while she eats in silence. His phone never leaves his hand. His eyes never linger on her face. Isabella tells herself she should be relieved. Distance is safety. Then his assistant calls on Thursday. There is a gala that night, a room full of sharks, and Vincent needs his wife on his arm. Isabella arrives at the hotel ballroom to find Lena Cole waiting by the entrance, dressed in black and fury. Lena takes Isabella's hands and squeezes. You look like a bride in a cage. Keep your voice down. Isabella whispers. Why should I? Lena's eyes flash. He is the one who should be ashamed. Isabella forces a smile. It is temporary. Lena leans closer. Temporary things still leave scars. Inside, music swells. The air smells like champagne and money. Vincent is already there, surrounded by executives who laugh too hard at his jokes. When he sees Isabella, his gaze flicks over her like an inspection. He offers his arm. Isabella takes it. The room watches. She can feel 100 opinions pressing into her skin. Marcus Gray appears at their table before the first course is served. He wears charm-like cologne, heavy and suffocating. Isabella Lockwood. Marcus says, as if tasting the name. Or should I say Isabella Thorne now? I must congratulate you. Not everyone can save a sinking ship by marrying the iceberg. Vincent's arm tightens around her waist. His voice turns colder than the wine. Watch your mouth. Marcus lifts his hands in mock surrender. Relax. I admire efficiency. A business marriage, a debt rescue, a public fairy tale. It is almost poetic. His gaze slides to Isabella's shoulder, too close. He reaches out, fingers aiming for her bare skin. Vincent moves before Isabella can. He steps between them, blocking the touch with his body like a shield. My wife. Vincent says, each word precise. Is not available for your games. The possessiveness in his tone hits Isabella like a pulse. For one breath, she forgets to be angry. Marcus smiles wider, clearly pleased to provoke. Are you protective, Vincent? Or do you just hate to lose what you paid for? Vincent's eyes narrow. Leave. Marcus leaves, laughing softly as he goes. The rest of the night is performance. Vincent smiles for donors. He dances once with Isabella, hand on her back, guiding her smoothly across the floor while speaking only to the people watching. When they finally slide into the car, Isabella cannot hold it in. Why did you do that? She asks. With Marcus. Vincent stares at the road ahead, hands steady on the wheel. Because he crossed a line. Because he crossed a line. She repeats, bitter. Or because you had to protect the image of Mrs. Thorne. Vincent's jaw flexes. Do not build stories in your head. If someone touches what is mine, it is an insult, that is all. The word mine lands like a bruise. Isabella turns toward the window, throat tight. The city lights smear across the glass. She hates herself for the warmth she felt when he defended her. At the estate, she walks past his office, then stops. The door is open a crack. Vincent is inside, alone, staring at a report with a crease between his brows. For a heartbeat, he looks tired. Human. Then he senses her and the mask snaps back into place. You need something? He asks. No. Isabella forces her voice flat. Good night. She walks away before she can do something foolish, like ask him if he ever plans to stop treating her like a signed document. Behind her, the house stays silent, but she can feel his eyes on her back long after the lights go out. Rain arrives like a verdict. Isabella spends the morning at a port facility outside the city, reviewing cargo manifests and meeting a supervisor who looks at her ring with thinly disguised pity. She should be home by late afternoon, but a sudden storm floods the highway, turning lanes into rivers. Her phone loses signal. The car crawls, then stalls in a line of stranded vehicles. Wind shoves rain sideways. Wipers cannot keep up. Isabella wraps her arms around herself and tries not to imagine her father reading another foreclosure notice. Headlights cut through the gray. A black car pushes through traffic, forcing its way onto the shoulder. It stops beside her. Vincent steps out into the downpour as if weather cannot touch him. In seconds he is at her door, opening it, rainwater running down his hair. What are you doing? Isabella asks, stunned. His gaze scans her face, then the windshield, then the dead engine. Getting you out. I can handle it. You cannot even get a signal. His voice is clipped, but his hands are careful as he helps her out of the car. He throws his coat around her shoulders. It is heavy, warm and smells like cedar. Isabella shivers, not from cold alone. How did you find me? I asked the supervisor for your location. He pauses, then adds, quieter. You were missing. The word missing lands in her chest like a soft punch. They climb into his car. The interior is warm. The windows fog instantly. Isabella clutches his coat, breathing in a steadiness she did not realize she wanted. Vincent drives with both hands on the wheel, eyes fixed ahead. Thunder shakes the sky. Next time. He says. You tell me when you leave the city. Isabella stares at him. Why? So you can track my movements like an asset. His jaw tightens. So I can get to you faster. Silence fills the space between them, thick and charged. Isabella turns her head away before he can see how that sentence breaks something open inside her. The storm gets worse. Visibility shrinks to a few feet. A truck hydroplanes across the divider, sliding into their lane like a giant, unstoppable weight. Vincent swears. He jerks the wheel. The car slams into the guardrail. Metal screams. Airbags explode. For a moment, Isabella cannot breathe. Her ears ring. Rain hammers the roof like fists. Vincent's hands are on her shoulders, urgent. Isabella, look at me. Are you hurt? Her body shakes. She looks at his face and sees raw fear in his eyes, the kind no board meeting could force out of him. I am fine. She whispers. Then her voice breaks. I am not fine. Tears spill before she can stop them. She grabs his shirt and leans into him, shaking with adrenaline and terror. Vincent goes still. Then, slowly, he wraps an arm around her, holding her against his chest. His hand presses to the back of her head, not possessive, just steady. It is over. He murmurs. I have you. Isabella clings to him, breathing in and out until her heartbeat settles. They wait for roadside assistance. Vincent refuses the offer of an ambulance. He insists on driving her home himself once the car is towed. Back at the estate, Isabella changes into dry clothes, then returns to the living room. Vincent is there, a cut on his knuckle, damp hair falling into his eyes. He looks less like a villain and more like a man who nearly lost control of something precious. Isabella brings him a first aid kit. She sits beside him without asking permission. Hold still, she says. Vincent watches her as she cleans the cut. His gaze follows the curve of her fingers, the crease between her brows, the small tremor in her breathing. You did not have to come, Isabella says quietly. I did. His voice is rougher than usual. I do not like surprises. She almost laughs. Instead she meets his eyes. You were scared. Vincent's expression shudders. No. Isabella does not back down. Yes. For a long moment he says nothing. Then he turns his hand, trapping her fingers lightly against his palm. Do not make me say things I cannot afford. He murmurs. Isabella's throat tightens. Afford. Vincent releases her and stands. He takes a step toward the stairs, then stops. You are staying in the master suite tonight, he says, tone flat. The storm knocked out power on your wing. The staff cannot fix it until morning. Isabella knows it is an excuse. She also knows she wants to accept it. In the master suite, she lies in a bed too large, staring at the ceiling. Vincent sleeps on the couch at first. She hears him shift, restless, like a man fighting his own instincts. At some point, the storm outside eases. The house settles. Isabella whispers into the dark, unable to hold it anymore. Vincent. He answers immediately. Yes. Do you ever regret this deal? Silence stretches. Then his voice comes, softer than she has ever heard it. I regret how much it is costing you. Isabella closes her eyes. Her heart beats like a secret. In the morning, she wakes to the scent of coffee. Vincent stands by the window again, back straight, mask on. But when he turns, his eyes linger on her for half a second too long. Then he speaks like a man reciting a role. Remember, this is still a transaction. Isabella sits up, clutching the sheet to her chest, and forces a smile that tastes like pain. Of course, I would not dream of confusing it with anything else. The weeks after the storm are dangerous, because they almost feel normal. Vincent stops eating dinner with his phone in his hand. He asks Isabella about her day. Once he laughs at something she says, a low sound that startles them both. They shop for groceries on a Sunday morning, walking down bright aisles like any couple. An elderly woman smiles at them and says, "You two look happy." Isabella answers with a polite lie. Vincent does not correct it. At night, they share quiet spaces. Sometimes he reads on the couch while she works at the desk. Sometimes their shoulders brush in the hallway and neither of them steps away fast enough. Isabella starts to believe she can survive this deal without losing herself. Then Marcus Gray strikes. It begins with a leak in the Thorn Group. A competitor announces a bid that matches Vincent's private numbers too perfectly. The board panics. Investors call. Vincent's office turns into a war room. One evening Vincent comes home late. Isabella is in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, stirring soup for him because he has not eaten all day. He does not sit. He does not take off his coat. He drops a folder onto the counter. The photos inside make Isabella's breath catch. Screenshots of emails. Spreadsheets. A message thread that appears to be from her personal phone, offering confidential figures to an unknown contact. It is not mine, Isabella says instantly. Vincent's face is carved from stone. The messages came from your account. It can be faked. He leans in, voice low and brutal. Do not insult my intelligence. Isabella's hands shake. Vincent, look at me. I would never do this. You asked about this project last week. His eyes are hard, accusing. You asked what margins we could accept. You asked how the bid would be structured. I asked because you told me to learn the business. Because you told me to play the perfect wife. Vincent's expression twists. So you admit you had access. Isabella stares at him, stunned by how fast he is choosing the worst version of her. Access is not proof. He flips to the last page. A printed bank transfer, allegedly routed to an account tied to the Lockwood Shipping Shell Company. Isabella goes cold. That account is not active. My father closed it. Vincent's mouth turns into a cruel line. Then why is your name on it? Because Marcus is framing me. Isabella slams her palm on the counter. He has been trying to split us from the start. Vincent laughs, short and sharp. Us. The word slices through her. Isabella's voice drops, trembling. Do you really think I would betray you after everything? Everything. Vincent repeats, and his gaze flicks briefly, painfully, to her lips. Then he forces himself back into anger. You were never here for me. You were here for money. You were here to rescue your family, and you would sell me out the moment it helped you. Isabella flinches as if he hit her. I saved your family. He continues, each sentence a hammer. I gave you status. I gave you security, and you repay me by dragging my company into a trap. Tears burn behind Isabella's eyes, but she refuses to let them fall. You told me not to fall in love with you. She says, voice thin. I listened. I stayed in my lane. I played your role. And you still look at me like I am poison. Vincent's eyes flash. For a second he looks like he might reach for her. Instead he steps back. Our agreement ends now. He says, cold enough to freeze the room. You will take your compensation and leave this house tonight. Isabella's heart drops into her stomach. You cannot end it. The contract is 2 years. I can do anything I want. Vincent's voice is flat. You will not ruin me. Isabella stares at him, searching for the man who held her in a storm. She cannot find him. Fine. She says softly. If that is what you want. She walks upstairs with steady steps, but every breath feels like glass. She packs in silence. A suitcase. A coat. The ring on her finger feels heavier than the luggage. Lena arrives an hour later, furious on Isabella's behalf. She finds Vincent in the hallway and blocks his path. You did this. Lena says, voice shaking with anger. You finally got what you wanted. You broke her. Vincent does not blink. Stay out of my marriage. Marriage. Lena laughs, sharp and bitter. You never treated it like one. She tried. She tried so hard and you punished her for it. Vincent's jaw clenches. She betrayed me. No. Lena snaps. You are scared. You would rather believe she is a villain than admit you care. Vincent's eyes flicker, a crack in the armor. Lena steps closer. If you let her walk out that door, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Vincent's voice turns deadly. Leave. Lena turns away, trembling. Isabella passes them with her suitcase, face pale but calm. She stops in front of Vincent, close enough to feel the heat of his body. For a second, she wants to scream. Instead she speaks quietly. I hope your company survives. She says. I hope your pride keeps you warm. Vincent does not answer. Isabella walks out. The door shuts behind her with a soft click, but in Vincent's eyes, it sounds like a gunshot. The estate becomes unlivable the day Isabella leaves. Vincent tells himself the silence is peace. It is not. The rooms feel too large, the air too empty, the table too long. A tray of dinner arrives. Vincent does not touch it. He drinks instead, not enough to lose control, just enough to dull the sharp edge of her absence. The next morning, he finds the kitchen staff arguing about what Isabella liked to eat. The argument stops when he enters. Everyone looks away. Vincent goes to his office and tries to work. His hand pauses over his phone, hovering over her contact. He does not call. He pulls up the evidence again. The emails. The screenshots. The bank transfer. Something about it bothers him, a tiny irregularity, like a seam that does not align. He calls his head of security. I want a full trace. Not the summary, the raw data. Sir, the board is already satisfied. The security chief says. Vincent's voice hardens. I am not. Hours later, the raw logs arrive. Vincent stares at them until his eyes burn. Timestamps. Routing paths. IP addresses. Then he sees it. The login that sent the messages did not come from Isabella's phone. It came from a device registered to a third party. It came from a building Marcus Gray owns. Vincent's stomach drops. The room tilts. He remembers Isabella in the kitchen, holding a spoon, pleading with him to look at her. He did not. Vincent stands so fast his chair hits the wall. He grabs his coat and drives into the city like a man chasing his own mistake. On the way, Arthur Lockwood calls. Vincent almost ignores it. Then he answers, because guilt has a voice. Vincent. Arthur says, and his pride is gone. We need to talk. It is about Marcus Gray. Vincent's grip tightens on the steering wheel. I know he framed my wife. Arthur inhales, ragged. He did more than that. He set up our collapse. Years ago he started pushing false contracts through my company. He planted people in my finance team. When I finally noticed, it was too late. He wanted our roots. He wanted to force us into your hands so he could pit you against my daughter. Vincent's pulse thunders. Why tell me now? Because Isabella is paying for my mistakes. Arthur's voice breaks. And because I saw how you looked at her before this exploded. You think I do not know what she means to you. I was wrong about you, Vincent. I was wrong to think you only wanted revenge. Vincent swallows hard. Where is she? Arthur hesitates. She is staying at a friend's place in Manhattan. Lena Cole is with her. Vincent turns the car around. He reaches Lena's building and takes the stairs instead of waiting for an elevator. He knocks once, then again, harder. Lena opens the door and freezes when she sees him. You have nerve, she says. Vincent does not waste time. Let me see her. Why? Lena's eyes narrow. So you can call her a liar again. Vincent's voice cracks, just once. Because I was wrong. Lena's expression flickers with surprise, then anger returns. Wrong does not fix what you did. Vincent nods, swallowing it. I know. Isabella appears behind Lena, wearing a sweater that looks too big, hair pulled back, eyes tired. The sight hits Vincent like a punch. He takes a step forward. Isabella. She does not move. What do you want? Vincent holds out the folder, but his hands do not feel steady. You were framed. I traced it. It was Marcus. Isabella's face stays blank, but her eyes shine with hurt. Of course it was Marcus. I told you. Vincent flinches. I should have believed you. Silence fills the doorway. Lena watches, arms crossed, ready to slam the door. Vincent forces himself to speak. I am sorry. It is not enough, but I am sorry. Isabella's voice is small. You asked me not to fall in love with you. I tried. Then you made it impossible. And when I finally thought you might care, you cut me open. Vincent's throat tightens. I was trying to keep you safe. Isabella laughs, bitter. By destroying me. Vincent nods because it is true. I do not deserve you, but Marcus is not done. He is getting desperate. I need you to let me protect you now. Isabella looks away, jaw trembling. For a moment Vincent thinks she will shut the door. Then her phone rings. Isabella answers and her face drains of color. It is my father. She whispers. He is saying men are at the house. Men he does not recognize. Vincent's blood turns cold. He pulls out his own phone and calls his security chief. Lockwood Mansion, now. A sharp laugh crackles through Isabella's phone. The voice is not Arthur's. Vincent. Marcus Gray says. You finally understand the game. Isabella's hand shakes as she holds the phone away from her ear. Marcus continues, amused. I have your wife. I can have her again. If you want her breathing, you will sign over the port lease and 2 seats on your board. Vincent's vision narrows. You touch her, I will bury you. Marcus laughs again. Meet me at the docks at midnight. Come alone. Bring the papers. No police. No heroes. The call ends. Isabella stares at Vincent, fear fighting with anger. This is because of me. Vincent steps closer, voice low and urgent. It is because he is a coward. Listen to me. You are not going anywhere without me. Isabella shakes her head. You said we were a transaction. Vincent's eyes burn. I lied. To you, to myself, to everyone. I do not know when it happened, but I cannot lose you. Lena curses under her breath. Vincent, if you get her killed, I will kill you myself. Vincent nods once. Fair. He takes Isabella's hand, and this time he does not let go. The docks smell like salt and rust. Vincent arrives before midnight, not alone but not with sirens. He parks far from the warehouses and walks through shadows with calm steps that hide the violence in his pulse. His security team is nearby, out of sight, watching from a distance. He told them to stay quiet until he gives a signal. He is done trusting Marcus, but he will not gamble with Isabella's life again. Inside the largest warehouse, floodlights snap on. Marcus Gray stands in the center, smiling like a host at his own party. Two men flank him, hands in their pockets. Isabella is tied to a steel post near a stack of shipping crates. Tape covers her mouth. Her eyes find Vincent and widen. Vincent forces his face into stillness. Let her go. Marcus waves a folder. Sign. Then you get her back. That's simple. Vincent steps forward, stopping at a safe distance. You framed her. You destroyed the Lockwoods. You failed. This is your last move. Marcus shrugs. I do not care about feelings. I care about assets. She is an asset you suddenly value. Vincent holds up his own folder. The papers are here, but first, remove the tape. I want to hear her voice. Marcus laughs. You are sentimental now. He nods to one of his men. The man walks to Isabella and rips the tape off. Isabella gasps, swallowing a sob. Vincent. She says, voice hoarse. Do not do it. Vincent's eyes soften for 1 second. I will get you out. Marcus claps slowly. Touching. Vincent opens the folder, pen poised. He keeps his hand steady, buying time, watching angles, counting steps. Marcus leans closer, greed bright in his eyes. Sign it. Vincent signs, then closes the folder and tosses it onto the ground. Marcus bends to pick it up. That is the moment Vincent moves. He lunges forward, fast and brutal, slamming into Marcus and driving him back. One of the guards pulls a knife. Vincent twists, catching the arm and breaking the grip. The blade clatters to the concrete. The second guard swings a metal bar. Vincent ducks, but the bar clips his shoulder, pain flashing through him. Isabella cries out. Vincent! Marcus scrambles for the knife. Vincent turns, but he is a half-second late. Isabella reacts on instinct. She throws herself sideways, yanking her wrists against the rope until it bites her skin. She shoves the post with her shoulder, changing the angle. The knife meant for Vincent slashes toward her instead. Vincent sees it. His body moves without permission. He takes the cut across his arm, then drives Marcus into the crate stack with a crash that shakes dust from the rafters. A sharp whistle echoes outside. Vincent's security team rushes in, weapons drawn, shouting orders. Marcus freezes, eyes wild. It is over. Vincent says, breathing hard. Marcus spits blood and laughs anyway. You think you win because you love her. Love makes you weak. Vincent steps closer, voice quiet and lethal. Love makes me honest. That is why you lose. The guards are restrained. Marcus is shoved to his knees, hands bound. Sirens rise in the distance, delayed but inevitable. Vincent runs to Isabella. His hands shake as he unties her, careful around her bruised wrists. She touches his bleeding arm, horror in her eyes. You are hurt. He does not care about the pain. He cups her face instead, thumb brushing her cheek. I am sorry. He says, and the words are raw. I am sorry for every time I called you a liar. I am sorry for every night I let you sleep alone. I was terrified, and I turned fear into cruelty. Isabella's eyes fill. Why? Vincent exhales, like surrender. Because the moment you signed that contract, I realized the deal was not saving your family. It was putting you in my line of fire. I tried to keep it business so it would not matter if I lost you. Then the storm came and I understood I was already lost. Isabella's hands grip his shirt. You told me not to fall in love with you. I was begging you to stay safe. He says. And I was lying to myself. I cannot promise you a perfect life. I can promise you this. I will never doubt you again. Isabella closes her eyes, trembling. When she opens them, her voice is steady. Then stop calling it a transaction. She says. Stop hiding behind paper. Vincent nods. I will. Weeks later, the court proceedings begin. Marcus Gray is charged with kidnapping, fraud, and corporate sabotage. The headlines are loud, but for the first time, Isabella does not feel like a spectacle. She feels like a person. Arthur Lockwood, humbled, visits the estate and looks at Vincent with quiet gratitude. Thank you for bringing her back. he says. Vincent answers simply, I should have protected her sooner. Isabella watches them, surprised by the softness in her father's eyes. On a bright morning in early spring, Vincent takes Isabella to a small chapel near the river. There are no cameras. No board members. No staged smiles. Just Lena, Arthur, and a few close friends. Vincent stands at the altar, hands clasped, looking as nervous as any ordinary man. When Isabella walks in, she is not wearing a dress chosen for headlines. She is wearing one chosen for herself. Vincent steps toward her, voice unsteady. Isabella Lockwood, I built a life out of control. You walked into it and made me want something I could not buy. Isabella smiles through tears. Vincent Thorne, you tried to scare me away with cold words. You failed. They exchange rings again, not as props but as vows. Later, as they walk along the river, Lena bumps Isabella's shoulder. So, still a deal. Isabella laughs, a real laugh. The only deal is this. I choose him. He chooses me. Vincent hears it and pulls Isabella close. I love you. He says, simple and clear. Isabella rests her forehead against his. I love you too. The contract is gone. The fear is not gone, not completely. But the truth stands between them now, stronger than any paper. And for the first time, the future feels like something they are allowed to want.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.